What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm finna show y'all how you can really bring your melodies to life with automations. I mean, like going crazy.
You had like 10 automations.
That's some bullshit. I went to a Palace workshop back in fall of 2021, and Palace showed a bunch of things there regarding automation, and since then I at least have 2 to 3 or even more automations in every melody I make, which definitely leveled up my sample / melody game. Let me not talk too much, let's get straight into the video. So basically in this video I'm just gonna show y'all different things I like to automate or things that Palace suggested to automate. There's some more obvious ones in here, but also some automations you probably didn't know or didn't think about. So let's just start off with something really simple, which is automating reverb or delay to fill out parts of the melody where nothing is playing, or to just add a little switch up, for example for counter melodies. For example, I got this melody right here, and as you can see I automated this delay when the counter melody comes in for the second time. Right here we got a part where nothing new comes in, so we got this little pause right in here, and we want to fill that up by, for example, adding delay on this guitar counter. Another thing Palace specifically mentioned during the workshop is to automate reverb on the chords. You can just automate reverb at the end of every chord, like you can't really hear it too well, also because the reverb isn't like too big, but turn it off. No, it just gives a little extra life is the best word to explain it. It's kind of obvious honestly, but a lot of people still don't use any automations in their melodies. And just automations in general are so underrated. Like with the easiest things you can really bring your melodies to life. Now the next automation Palace also specifically mentioned in the workshop, and I now use on pretty much every melody, is automating S1. So for those who don't know, S1 Imager is a Waves plugin, and everything it does basically is just makes the sound more mono or more stereo by just in this slider right here. How you want to do it is set this slider to make the sound a little more stereo, a little more mono. Most of the time you want to stay between like 0.80 and like 1.20. Most of the time I do this automation on counter melodies, and I make one counter melody a little more stereo and the other one a little more mono. The thing you want to automate now is the rotation. So how you do it is just drag this, click up here, tools, last tweaked, and then create automation clip. And then how you automate this is basically your choice. Like Palace sometimes just automates it like this, like have it change very slowly, or sometimes he has it like way crazier, like something like that. Most of the time I try to like stay around the middle though, like not make it go too far to one side. I don't know exactly what the rotation does, but it's really kind of like a cheat code, because if you do this, you sometimes can really hear how like a sound really breaks through the melody. It's probably the most necessary automation I'm gonna show in this video, because yeah, like I said, I'm really just doing it in every single melody. Like even just panning some channels left to right will go a long way, but if you really just automate this rotation up in S1, really gives the melody more depth. Now another great thing to automate is just knobs on plugins that make your melody sound more vintage or more like old. The best knob to automate is probably gonna be the static or just the noise knob in the plugin of your choice. So move the knob around, then just go tools, last tweak, create automation clip. You have like one part where it gets really loud, like something like that for example, but obviously you can automate any other knob. For example, automate the wobble or automate the mix.
Pretty much automate everything.
Making automations in plugins that kind of add vintage or old feel is always gonna add a lot of life to your melody. Another great thing you can automate are these 2 knobs right here. One, the pan, and the pitch one. Now hold on, now I was kind of confused too when Pelle said at the workshop that he sometimes just automates this pitch knob set to range 2 to just give the melody a detune. It kind of sounds stupid, but it's just basically the simplest detune you can do, and you got all the control over it. Let's just do that for this piano. Create automation clip. Just really slight, like something like this. Another easy way to add more depth to the melody is to just automate the pan knob. Now that's pretty self-explanatory. Now I personally don't really like automating the pan. I just think it's way easier to just use something like Pan-Man or Pan-O-Matic. Now another obvious thing you can automate is the volume. Now I wouldn't necessarily suggest automating the volume unless you got like some realistic orchestra counter melodies going on, like some strings or horns or something like that. Then it can really add a lot to the melody. You can obviously do something like make it fade in and then fade out at certain parts. That can be a cool way to take out some part of the counter melody when you already have it rendered out. But other than that, I don't really automate volume too much. So now for those last two things you can automate, I really got some sauce for y'all. The first one being just automating unique effects like choruses or phrases. The best thing to probably automate with this technique is effect rack. Let's go with effect with a little more reverb, and then just go ahead and keep it kind of low, but then kind of make it go up at the end of the pattern. So now this last automation is probably something that's going to surprise a lot of people, and it is to automate EQ. So basically what you want to do is, this is another thing I learned from Palace. You just make a little belly EQ like this. You can have it wider or more narrow, it don't really matter. And then what you're going to do is just find like a nice place to start it off. Tools, last tweak, create automation clip. And then what you want to do is kind of make it move around like this, for example. Now the only thing I would suggest when automating this is to kind of have parts where it moves very slowly and then have parts where it really speeds up. It would just make the melody way more interesting and basically just make this whole automation more like worth it basically. Now if you just like turn it up, you can see what it actually does. Very interesting automation. It's just an easy way to add a lot of character, a lot of life to a very simple sound and very simple melody. But yeah, with that being said, that's it for the video. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Just automate as much as possible. It don't matter what you automate.
Just automate things. Like,
it can be the tiniest things, like you cannot even hear it, but if you just do 10 automations that all just do a little bit, it would do so much for the melody. If y'all learned something new for this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. You already know that really helps push these videos to people who want to see them. All that being said, let me know in the comments what y'all want next. I got some crazy kits on the way, so stay tuned for that. Check out my existing kits, first link in the description. And yeah, have a great day. I'm out.